Hi, sorry, how y'all doing? Sorry again that it's been a hot minute. If you see my Twitter, this most recent episode got really long and really sad, so it's been taking me a moment to get a thumbnail up and ready to go, but still wanted to try and get some content out this week, and that comes in the form of doing something new that I'm gonna be trying to be doing for this Wolfquest series. Character studies! Woo! This not only helps me nail down a design so I can draw thumbnails easier, but also gives you guys a glimpse into what goes on inside my little pea brain when these wolves are fucking around and living their lives. This also means you guys will get to hear some more in-depth stuff on Freya's parents and siblings in the future.
It also might be nice for when I need a teeny break from the game and to give me more time to work on thumbnails. But you didn't hear that from me.
And starting off, we're going to be talking not about our main character, but instead her mate, Achilles! Because Lord knows this man confounds and intrigues me. So, starting off, the way we met Achilles was very interesting. Freya was hunting, and then bing bang boom, right as the calf's mother was coming straight for her, Achilles charged in and saved the day, and was everything Freya was looking for in a mate. I will say this. Never have I ever had anything like that happen to any of my wolves on this game before, so it was a hell of a way to meet. Freya chased after him to thank him, and possibly court him, and we come to find that, yes, he is very strong, courageous, but he is also rather clumsy, bonking into a rock as soon as Freya catches up to him and convinces him to stay with her for a few days. Hence why I gave him the name Achilles, as his clumsiness seems to be his Achilles heel. At the time. Har har. However, as time has gone on with these two, I've begun to think there's more to it than just his clumsiness. Achilles is an older wolf, being 4 years old at the time the pair met, which is what Freya was looking for, but this also leaves an interesting gap of time that means he could have had a life before Freya. Not just being in a pack and leaving to become a dispersal, no, he definitely could have gone through that period in life already. But firstly, I want to focus on talking about Achilles and Freya's relationship as a whole. I like to think that the reason Freya had to work so hard to impress him is because at first seeing this little wolf desperately trying not to get kicked in the head by a mother elk, he really just viewed her as an anxious youngster, and hoped maybe that hanging out with her for a few days would help boost her confidence. He did not view her as a potential mate at the time, especially when she kept backing out of risky situations. Then, when Freya finally put her foot down and asked what he could do for her after she'd been desperately trying to do everything she could to prove herself to him, he began to really think on how he'd been acting and started to view her in a different light, which led to their first successful hunt together and them deciding to become mates. Since we didn't really get to see the journey to Sleuth Creek, I like to think that during that trip they actually start to bond and get to know each other better, and they do genuinely fall in love with one another despite Achilles' beaver vendetta he develops along the way. However, things take a turn when Freya gets pregnant. I'm not sure if anyone else really noticed, but in the episodes before the pups were born and we were marking territory, Achilles seemed to be really distant. Like, some sort of disconnect happened as soon as they found out they were going to be parents. And this disconnect has actually continued up until recently. So then I got to thinking about that time before Freya and their family. And this is what I came up with. Achilles had a mate before Freya. He was a young dispersal in his prime, and we will likely never know her name, but they were young, dumb, and in love. Then they had their first litter of pups. I don't think any of those pups made it to adulthood. I think Achilles and his mate were so traumatized, and maybe, just maybe, his own clumsiness was the cause of at least one of his pups' death. And his mate blamed him and left him in the dust to find a better partner for herself. And Achilles is so terrified of history repeating itself that he's afraid to get attached. He's afraid something will happen and Freya will leave him too. He wants to be a father, desperately. He tries so hard to be a good father, but he is scared that at any moment one of his pups will get taken away at the drop of a dime, and that there will be nothing he can do to stop it. This has led to plenty of arguments between Achilles and Freya, especially in episode 13, where Achilles had just run off somewhere and left Freya to get nearly trampled. Thankfully, little spoiler, things do change for the better in the next episode, after bad circumstances, where Achilles finally gets a wake-up call, it seems, and starts trying to support Freya better than he has been. And hopefully it won't be too little too late. As for smaller headcanons about Achilles, I actually picture his voice actor to be Will Arnett, particularly as BoJack Horseman, which is a little funny because I picture Freya's voice actor to be Alison Brie, which is Diane. Oh boy, if that doesn't say something about this relationship. But, voices aside, they do genuinely love and care for each other. Both of them just have a lot of baggage where Achilles has severe depression while Freya has extreme anxiety. And there's no therapy for wolves, so they gotta figure some shit out. But they love each other at the least. As for the doodles here, the top two are mostly just me figuring out the shapes of Achilles and making a better riff for myself for my thumbnails. Also practicing expressions a bit. Honestly, all I can think of when I picture this man is scruffy, tired dad doing his best who tries to be stern and stoic. And he definitely can be, but then he'll bonk into a rock after giving his kids a lecture and they'll all be howling with laughter until their mom shushes them and comforts him. Down below are just two doodles of Freya and Achilles and then Achilles and Oakley. Achilles does struggle with that disconnect, but as I mentioned, he genuinely tries to be a good dad. So if one of his kids wants to run up to him when he gets home from a hunt and ramble to him about a squirrel he saw, then by God he's gonna listen and let them talk his ears off. The Freya and Achilles doodle is fun too, as Achilles is bigger than Freya, so I like to imagine he has to bow his head a bit for her to do the chin rest thing she likes to do to him. The little cartoony doodle was just for fun to mess around with a different style, but who knows, maybe I'll use it for something someday. Ooh. Sorry, that was stupid. And finally, I wanted to draw at least one pup who, in my eyes, looks the most like their parents, and in Achilles' case, that pup is Bailey. So this is going to be her canon pup design at the least. I know pups don't have many markings or anything like that when they're real little, but it gets kinda hard to differentiate them just by fur color, so I wanted to add some small elements to do that. They don't have a ton of markings, of course. Like, Bailey just has similar fur color, his dark eye circles, and later nose fur pattern. She could have gotten those dark ears from either parent, though. So, that's Achilles. I know this isn't my usual content, but I hope you guys enjoy this anyway. In place of an episode, I'll do my best to get it up by next week. But if not, I might do another character study with Freya, since that's a bit quicker for me to do. But, on a light note, got a funny video coming out tomorrow if any of you like fanfics, so stay tuned for that. Either way, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, night, or afternoon, wherever you're at. See you later!